TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, while the Islamist Hamas organization reaffirms its intention of conquering Jerusalem, Israel maintains its pressure, frustrating terror cell throughout the so-called West Bank territories. Hezbollah claims that the Jerusalem leadership is scared of a wide-scale conflagration, insisting that such a multi-front war would lead to Israel's demise. Damascus accuses Jerusalem of yet another bombardment of Iranian and Hezbollah targets in the vicinity of the Syrian capital. Israel is seemingly maintaining its pressure in efforts to frustrate terror cells throughout the West Bank districts of Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley. IAF, ISA, and Border Police Special Operations Forces conducted counter-terror activities in the aforementioned districts, during the course of which 11 suspected terror operatives were successfully apprehended in the past 48 hours alone. According to the IDF spokesperson's unit, during one of the operations in the city of Jenin, Palestinian suspects opened massive fire toward the Israeli forces, who responded with live fire toward the gunmen. And while no injuries were immediately reported among the Israeli troops, hits were identified among the Palestinian militants. It is important to note that there was an apparent uptick in reported fire by Palestinian gunmen toward Israeli forces over the weekend, which coincides with a clear rise in rhetoric by internationally designated Palestinian terror groups over their declared intention to fight the Jewish state over Jerusalem. Among others, in Gaza City, the Islamist Hamas organization organized a rally in which it proclaimed its unwavering commitment to conquering the Israeli capital.
Today's message to all parties, whether the occupation or Arab parties, the cause of Jerusalem must be the first and the central cause we can entrench ourselves behind and fight this enemy and this fascist government, which targets the Al-Aqsa Mosque nowadays and in an escalating manner. A short while ago, we have seen the Talmudic prayers and attempts to impose the division in time and place. This is playing with fire. Our people will not allow this policy to pass because our defense of the Al-Aqsa cause is defending the dearest we have and our prime cause.
While the Islamist Hamas regularly declares its aspiration to annihilate the Jewish state despite lacking any tangible capacity to do so, last week's statements by the top security brass of Jerusalem's defense establishment, in which they broadly highlighted Israel's unwavering commitment to prevent the malign aspirations of Iran and its regional proxies, has clearly raised the level of concern in Tehran, Beirut, and elsewhere. While Iran sought to deter Israel by unveiling a new ballistic missile capable of reaching Israeli territory, Hezbollah responded by holding a few military exercises along Israel's border, while Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah proclaimed in a televised address to his followers that the Israeli leadership in Jerusalem was the one who should fear a great war.
First of all, the Israelis are the ones who should fear the big war as a result of all the changes I mentioned. They are the ones who should fear the big war. Second, I want to respond to them with the same logic. I tell the enemy's prime minister, minister of war, army chief, and commanders, you have to pay attention and not miscalculate. Not only you tell us not to miscalculate, you too don't miscalculate. I repeat what I said on Al-Quds Day. You could miscalculate and make a mistake in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Syria, or in Iran, which could lead to blowing up the whole region. Your miscalculation could be the reason leading to the big war in the region, and the big war in the region will lead you to the abyss, if not to your demise.
It is worth noting that Nasrallah's remarks were made from a bunker in Beirut as he remains in hiding for fear of Israel's presumed intention of assassinating him. And while defense sources in Israel refer to Nasrallah's threat as an indication of panic, overnight Israel allegedly responded to his remarks when missiles appeared over the skies of Damascus, targeting an Iranian weapons shipment, along with Hezbollah infrastructure in Rif Dimashq and Al-Hameh, northeast of Damascus City. According to the regime-run Sana news agency, the alleged Israeli strike was carried out at approximately 11:45 p.m. And while Syria's aerial defense array attempted to intercept the incoming projectiles, the missiles struck their intended targets, causing material damage. And while the Damascus regime insisted that the bombardment did not cause any injuries, the London-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported on 5 Syrian casualties, as well as extensive damage to Hezbollah and Iranian infrastructure. It is important to further note that while the Damascus regime naturally pointed a blaming finger toward Jerusalem, the IDF spokesperson's unit did not confirm or deny its alleged responsibility. In other news, Israeli President Yitzhak Herzog is scheduled to depart for a state visit to the Azerbaijani capital Baku tomorrow upon invitation of his counterpart Ilham Aliyev. During the visit, the two heads of state are scheduled to hold extensive meetings to discuss the bolstering of strategic relations between the two countries. It is worth noting that relations between Baku and Jerusalem are of strategic importance for both countries, with Israel assisting Azerbaijan in a wide array of matters from health to energy, water desalination, and security-related collaboration, among others, which Azerbaijan's Deputy Foreign Minister Fariz Rezaev referred to last week during a Q&A session at the annual conference of the Institute for Policy and Strategy at Reichman University in Herzliya.
Azerbaijan has been and is still a very important factor in providing for Israel's energy security. Let's start with that. Yeah.
About third of our
oil,
for security
fuel,
needs, yes.
And everything. That is crucial, of course, and we understand the importance and relevance of energy security these days, when a lot of supplies, a lot of deals got disrupted, canceled due to unforeseen circumstances, sanctions, embargoes, and so on. The trade is booming. It's growing. The numbers are good, but we'll take them even higher because there are many similarities between Azerbaijan and Israel in terms of nature, in terms of landscape, in terms of the challenges we're facing. Both our countries have problems with natural water sources, and we know that Israel is a global champion in water recycling and water management. So there is a huge project under development in Azerbaijan. Now we are at the feasibility study and research and development phase. It has to do with the desalination of the Caspian seawater, and Israel is a natural partner.
Another issue that is common to both Jerusalem and Baku includes hostilities which emanate from Iran. However, in contrast to Israel, Azerbaijan neighbors the Islamic Republic of Iran to the north, and therefore is seemingly more cautious in its rhetoric toward its southern adversary. When asked whether Azerbaijan would permit Israel to use its airspace to penetrate the Islamic Republic in the event of a strike against Iran's nuclear installations, Deputy Minister Rezaev highlighted the following.
One of the most important elements of Azerbaijan's foreign policy is that we refrain from interfering into other countries' internal affairs, and we refrain from interfering the disputes or problems, including by allowing or giving our territory for some operations or adventures. We try to contribute into international peace and security by more positive, more constructive means.
It is important to know that reports are circulating about certain ambiguous progress in indirect negotiations between Iran and the United States about potentially reaching an undisclosed nuclear arrangement with the Islamic Republic. Asked whether these circulating reports were indeed true, recently appointed U.S. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said the following.
We're not going to respond to purported leaks of diplomatic conversations or rumors about diplomatic conversations, many of which have been false in the past and continue to be false. But that said, we have always said that we maintain the ability to communicate with Iran and deliver messages to them when it is in the United States' best interest to do so. We're never going to detail the contents or the message of those messages or the means of their delivery, but we do continue to believe that diplomacy is the best way to verifiably and durably ensure that Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon.
After failing to secure a decisive majority in the first round of presidential elections, Turkey's High Electoral Board announced an undisputed victory of Recep Tayyip Erdogan in yesterday's second round of presidential elections.
It has been determined that Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan received 51.91% of the votes and Mr. Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu received 48.09% in the countrywide vote count.
After his rival accepted defeat, President-elect Erdogan proclaimed his intention to heal the rifts of his nation.
As part of the responsibility our nation has given us, we are not angry, resentful, or angry with anyone. Now is the time to put aside all the debates and conflicts regarding the election and unite around our national goals and dreams.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. If you're blessed by our productions, please consider making a financial contribution, which would allow us to continue our operations here in Jerusalem. Separately, we would like to encourage you to pray for our persecuted brothers and sisters worldwide, as well as for the peace of Jerusalem and salvation of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you again tomorrow at the same time.